Welcome to our Grounded videos. One of the things we want to do with these videos is introduce people to some of the folks that serve in different ministries that our church is involved in. And so tonight, I want to let you hear from Donna Potts, who's been involved with lots of different ministries here at Fifi, but specifically today, I want her to get to share about Meals on Wheels. So welcome, Donna. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's start way back at the beginning for anybody that doesn't know you or know your story. So how did you become a Christian? How did you get introduced to Jesus?
Well, it was very easy for me to get introduced to Jesus because I grew up in a very strong Southern Baptist church. My grandmother lived with us and she was very involved in all church activities, even associational activities, as was my mother. So it was easy for me to step in to being a Christian. I kind of related with Timothy the other day that the only really difference I saw was maybe I was a little nicer to people afterwards. But, for a long time, I thought that if you didn't have a life-changing experience when you came to Jesus, maybe you weren't a Christian. And that bothered me for a while, that I didn't really have an exciting story to tell. But I've gotten over that. So, I was 9 years old when I was baptized.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think a lot of people, I'm like you, that I grew up in the church, and so that same idea, I never thought my testimony was very good, but somebody pointed out to me once that it's the testimony of God faithfully working through a family for generations, and that's an incredible testimony. Yeah. So how did you get connected with Fifi? When did you start coming here?
We started at Fifi in 1997. I grew up at Hanley Hills Baptist Church, so I have that connection with a lot of people at Fifi that went to Hanley Hills. And that's where Dave and I were married in 1965. But the church closed in 85, and we moved over to Edmondson Road, which was relatively close to our family, our home, and we wanted our kids in the youth group there. And that was a wonderful place for me to grow in missions, as well as our kids. And then when Edmondson closed, we moved to Fifi in 1997. So we, for a long time, were known for closing churches, but hopefully that's come to an end also.
Yeah, we hope so too. I'm glad that hasn't continued.
Yeah.
Well, so I know you mentioned that you're very passionate about missions and been involved in a lot of mission opportunities over the years. Can you tell me about some of the different ways that you've been involved with missions?
Well, I mentioned Edmondson Road. First of all, I think at Hanley Hills, I grew in WMU leadership areas. And that.
Sorry, just for anybody that's not familiar, WMU is?
Women's Missionary Union is the name for the national group, women's group. And they are the umbrella over Women on Mission, ACT Teens, GAs, and Mission Friends. So all those are WMU folks. Gotcha. In fact, my grandmother used to lead RAs when she was a young mother, which is the boys, Royal Ambassadors.
Right.
So anyway, then when we went to Edmondson Road, we had a wonderful minister of education who was extremely mission-minded. And he saw opportunities all over the place. And we started going on mission trips with him. And he had started us with apartment ministry. And when the Red Cross called in 1992 with the flood, he said yes, and our church was, because of the proximity to the airport and the highway, we were the Red Cross Center for 2 times during that year. And so I started cooking with the disaster relief. From there, I took training in disaster relief. Also during that time, I met my friend Lucy on a bus trip to Ridgecrest. And so now I have a partner in missions. And we were able to go on she also did disaster relief. And in fact, Dave and Don and Cindy also participated in training because our church was being used so much. But then Lucy and I have been all over the United States doing disaster relief, including Katrina, New Orleans. So that was a good experience. And then went to Windermere. I was a special worker for adults with WMU. And we had a speaker down at Windermere who was the national leader for mission opportunities. And they started Mission Fest, they're called. And it's a WMU sponsored mission trip. It was all over the United States. They planned the places that you would go and the things that you would do. You had to get yourself there and you had to pay for your own hotel and whatever. And so Lucy and I have been to Florida, to Boston, to Philadelphia, to Memphis, just many, many places doing missions work. And so that has been a wonderful opportunity and a good way to not only see the country, but to see the opportunities and the hardships and the problems that people have. And I just had a wonderful, wonderful experience and opportunity. Got to go to Belarus through WMU because we started the women's organization over there. And I've been there twice. And then, of course, we've had the opportunity at Fifi to go to the Ukraine. So Dave and I have been there twice. And now, since we're getting old, these last few years, we've been working with Concord Builders, which is the association around Jefferson City. And we do a church build every summer. So we've been doing that about 15 years. So I think it's just the willingness to say yes and to be available, and God will lead you a lot of places, and you get to do a lot of things, and you get to have a lot of blessings.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing, and thank you for being so involved and saying yes to so many missions opportunities. That's you're making a difference in the world for the gospel, and we appreciate that. But one of the local things that we want to talk to you about that you're regularly involved with is Meals on Wheels. And for anybody that's not familiar with Meals on Wheels, it's a national organization whose mission is to empower local community programs to improve the health and quality of life of the seniors they serve so that no one is left hungry or isolated. And we at Fifi get to be one of those local community programs. So tell me, how did you get involved with Meals on Wheels? How long have you been doing that?
Well, I've been involved with Meals on Wheels at Fifi for about 15 years now. Just started filling in when somebody was not able to work or whatever. Actually, at Fifi, we are not the national organization, part of the national organization. We are our own group. LaWanda Weidman started Meals on Wheels in 1972 here at Fifi. Wow. And she just was wanting a personal touch given to people who were not able to come to church, didn't have a church affiliation, and were at home most of the time needing a nutritious meal. And so that's how it got started. And so it's been going on for a long time, all funded by Sunday school classes and individuals who contribute money to it. We do have a line item in our church budget, but it's for like memorials and people who give money to Meals on Wheels. So, and that's kind of been experienced with being quarantined and not having church so much because those Sunday school classes are not meeting and those groups are not participating. So it's been a little bit of a stretch, but we made a decision when this started last year now, February, March, that we were going to continue to feed the people that we've made a commitment to every week. And our deliverers also, we can't do it by ourselves. We could cook the meal, but if we didn't have somebody that was willing to deliver, it wouldn't be a whole lot of help. But they also have made that commitment. And so we have been cooking and delivering this whole year during the pandemic.
That's
so
awesome.
It's been wonderful.
Yeah, that's amazing. So tell me, what is a regular, we do it on Tuesday mornings at Fifi. What does a regular Tuesday look like when you're doing Meals on Wheels? How many volunteers are there? How many seniors are you delivering to right now?
Well, right now we're delivering to 18 to 20. We vary week by week. We have people going in rehab. We have people that die, of course. And then we pick up somebody else. So it varies, but it's around that number, around 18 to 20. And a typical Tuesday morning that starts way before Tuesday, though, because Saturday night we pick up from St. Louis Bread Company all their leftover breads and sweets. And normally if we were at church, we would be sharing that with you, but not able to do that right now. But Meals on Wheels gets the sliced bread and the desserts, we call them, the sweets. And then the rest of the bagels and stuff like that. Now, Nandas comes and gets that, and she takes it to Loaves and Fishes and other places around our community that are in need of some bread and such. And so that's been a good thing. So we start with that, and we have to, I pick up the first week, and then everybody has a different week. And we have to bag those things and get them to church so they're ready for Tuesday morning. On Monday, I do all the shopping, so our food is fresh and ready to cook on Tuesday morning. we get there at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we have the meals ready by 9 to be delivered.
Wow.
And then folks can have that either for lunch or they can reheat it for their supper. So we typically have enough food in there for 2 meals. So they're getting a good meal. And then during this year, we've been adding a few things, easy things that they can do by themselves. Macaroni and cheese and peanut butter and stuff like that, snacks that they wouldn't normally have if they were out and about, but they're not out and about. So, and the backpack ministry has helped us with that because they had surplus. We're not going to be using that this year, so we were able to use that. And so that has been good, and it has helped a little bit. And our workers, we have 4 of us: Marilyn Wilson, Sharon Copeland, Denise Tucker, and me. And we are there at 7 every Tuesday. And then we have deliverers: Bob Foster, Ken Vineyard, Carol Gallagher picks up for her mother. Donna Block has been delivering some. So we have various people that deliver. The 2 guys are the ones, they're the heavy lifters, and they're the ones that have the most to deliver. But they have been wonderful, and we couldn't do it without them. So
yeah. Well, and one of the things I really like about Meals on Wheels is that, the mission is not just to provide food, but to make those seniors that they're not left alone, right? That they're remembered, and they care. You all care about those relationships. A couple times I've gotten the privilege of filling in as a delivery person for Meals on Wheels, and I noticed immediately how much the people that I delivered to were just so thankful to have a conversation with me. And honestly, how they're a little disappointed that I wasn't the regular delivery person, because they had built these relationships with them. Can you talk about kind of the relational aspect of Meals on Wheels between the drivers and the seniors a little bit?
Well, Bob Foster and Ken Vineyard particularly, you all know those guys, and they are thorough. They are very easy to talk to. They are attentive. They notice things that are happening with the seniors, and they are able to maybe contact their children and say, this is what's going on. Bob just recently had been delivering to a man, and he said, I really think that he needs a man to talk to, and I'm that person. And so he would spend a little bit of time with him and just talk guy stuff. And his daughter, he passed away then just a week or 2 ago, and his daughter has called us. She's called Bob. She's very appreciative of what we've done. That's as awesome. Far as food and talking with her father. So that's just one instance. That happens all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a regular thing. And that's what makes the difference is,
well, they're getting a contact from church also. So that's helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's our goal with all of our ministries, is that we want to provide for needs. Absolutely. We want to feed people. We want to make sure they're clothed and housed and all of that. But tied along with that is we want them to know that we care about them and that there's a God that cares about them. And, that's how we have the opportunity to share the gospel with them. And so
I think that's a question they ask each week. Is there anything we can do for you? Is there anything the church can do for you? And so I think that's also helpful. They report that back.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's an important touch, an important way for us to stay connected as a church body to our community. Well, Donna, thank you so much for being involved in so many different ministries that you do at Fifi. We could talk a long time about all the different ways you're involved, but specifically, I just thank you so much for your involvement and your leadership at Meals on Wheels. You are definitely a blessing to us at Fifi, but even more so to those seniors that get that special touch. And so thank you for that, and thank you for taking some time to share with us today.
No problem. Enjoyed it.
Good. And thank you all for watching this video. We'd love for you to get connected in missions here at Fifi. If you're interested in connecting either with Meals on Wheels or any of our ministries, we would love to get to talk to you. You can call me or send me an email at andrew@fifibc.org. And I would love to help you find a place to serve. And honestly, probably a better connection would be Donna. She'd love to get to share with you about some of the missions things that she does at Fifi and how you can be a part of that. So thank you for watching. And hope you have a lovely evening. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.